I think my first impression of Alberto was that he was a very pleasant man. He was clean cut, and his accent was fascinating, and he seemed to be very articulate and interested in spiritual things. He's very pleasant and a fascinating personality. How is it that we actually met Alberto, Bart?
Well, back in September of 1977, he contacted our office expressing interest in evangelizing Hispanic people, and we were really excited about hearing from someone like Alberto. I'm an ex-Roman Catholic priest myself, Bart Brewer, my wife Ruth. And we're from San Diego, California. We've been specializing in Roman Catholic evangelism for many years. We heard from someone who testified that he is an ex-priest. We were really excited. Remember, Ruth?
One thing I've noticed about Bart is that every time he hears of an ex-priest or an ex-nun, he's always anxious to try to get in touch with them, find out if they have any interest in the Bible or if they've even actually been born again, and if they're interested in any type of outreach to Roman Catholics, because that's our heart's desire, to see Roman Catholics come to a personal knowledge of Jesus Christ and place their authority in the Word of God.
That's why when we heard from Alberto, Ruth and I went up to the Los Angeles area. We had a preaching commitment, and that provided an opportunity to meet Alberto in person. Like Ruth said, we were very impressed. We had a lovely time of fellowship around the table.
I know one of the things that I asked him is how he managed to escape all the women that would obviously be chasing a nice-looking man like he is. And he actually told us that he hadn't exactly escaped, because at one point he said that he had been married to a woman and then later found out that he was not her only husband, and their marriage ended somehow. And it sounded like a sad story, but he seemed to be very interested in wanting to reach people for the Lord, and had actually asked us if we could help him get commitments in some of the fundamental churches, and Bart said he would try to help him.
In fact, another ex-priest friend of mine, Cipriano Valdez, he and I met Alberto, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And it was shortly after that when Cipriano said, Bart, that man is not a former Catholic priest. I found that quite shocking.
Well, it was, but we felt that we could place more confidence in his opinion because he spoke Spanish and would understand a little bit more the terminology and things that Alberto was using. But I know that for quite some time we felt that he was a genuine ex-priest. And one of the things that really made us suspicious of him was when the comic book first came out, and it had a statement that he was ordained a bishop, as a Jesuit bishop. And Bart said that's not possible. And our first thought is he wasn't old enough even to be a bishop. And so I remember you calling Jack Chick and asking him to check that out. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, but also we contacted some kind of pontifical book that would have a list of all the bishops from all the centuries down to the present time, and there was no one by that name. So the burden of the proof really wouldn't be on any of us, but rather on Alberto. And we have, we like the man. You see what I mean? It's not that we want to share some of these things, but people have been bombarding us for years about this individual. Over the phone, by mail, wherever I preach. Who is this mystery man?
I know one of the things that because of my work at the book table, whenever we have meetings, people come and ask what we think of Alberto. And we basically say we think he's a very nice person. He appears to be, and one of the problems, however, that we find is that his story is so sensational and spectacular, And we do really not believe that he was ever a priest. But even beyond that, we don't agree with many of the statements that he makes. There's some truth to what he says, and there's some error to what he says. And some of the people who are pro-Alberto have become very disruptive in some of the meetings that we've had, and it's been a little bit of a difficulty for us, because we would rather not talk about Alberto, frankly. And other people bring up the subject. When they do, and we're not positive about him, it seems that a good deal of the time they become somewhat belligerent. And I've actually told people, if Alberto can prove to us that he's a priest, we would be absolutely delighted to tell people that we believe he is, or that he was a priest. But until he answers Bart's letter to that effect, we can't really endorse the fact that he was.
You see, the true ex-priest is easy to identify. But the bogus priest is a mystery man. You see, I find that quite significant. I'm very, very interested, you know, in his identity. There is no legitimate or authentic ID card as a Roman Catholic priest. What also is significant is that where are the parishes that he served in? Where are his classmates? Does he have any ordination card? For example, if he was a Jesuit, for example, where are the holy cards giving the date when he took his formal vows, and also when later on when he was ordained a Roman Catholic priest? So that's what I'm interested in, you know. I think it's sad that for many years, really, Alberto has been deceiving people, and he has, for example, been making it more difficult for those who specialize in Roman Catholic evangelism.